Hey everyone, Jake from Walkie Farm, and we've just fed the cows a bit of straw. We've turned them out to pasture. Not much pasture, but better than what they've been on with hay and straw over the fence for the last 6 months. So getting a bit of pick, calving starts in a week. Been sitting here watching them. There's 20 cows here. I've got 3 or 4 that are pretty well bagged up. So got some fresh little Nguni arriving imminently. She's got a big bag on her, that one, lovely. Anyway, I thought I'd just come on and just provide some thought substance for anyone out there who's wanting to direct market meat, is direct marketing meat, has heard me riff on minimum viable scale. And this is off the back of the event, a place to call home event up at Townsville that Mrs. Walkie and I went up to on the weekend. And I was on a panel and people were talking about mistakes you've made, things you wish you'd done sooner, vertical and horizontal integration. And I can't remember exactly the question, but it just prompted me to just bring up this conversation that I had with somebody once. So if you follow our page, you probably know that we have our own butchery and we butcher and pack our own beef, pork and lamb. And somebody asked about that, and I said, don't be under any pretense that by doing this you're going to save yourself oodles of money. You know, if you're out there as a producer criticizing Coles and Woolies and JBS because they're rip-off merchants and they're making too much money and they charge too much, you are in effect implying, if not outright saying, I could do it cheaper and better. You know, these guys have vast supply chains, a lot of resources, a lot of technology, a lot of skill and experience. And you're saying, you're too expensive. You're a rip-off merchant. I could do it cheaper and better than you. Well, could you? So this brings me to my little anecdote. I was doing a consultation job for a guy down in Tasmania. And he has a lamb business, selling a few hundred lambs a year direct to market, and was paying $80 to his local butcher for the kill, cut and pack. So that was $80. Might have been 90, but I'm very sure it was 80. It was 100% under $100. That was including the kill fee, the transport back to the boning room, the butchering, the sausages in a cryovac bag labeled. He was paying $80. And he told me that he wanted to get his costs down, and he was thinking about outlaying the cash to build a certified boning room and employing a butcher on his farm to get that cost down. And I was like, hang on a second, whoa. I've been doing this for 5 years now, and we recently, or about a year ago now, we ran a time and motion study, and I went into detail painfully. We got a bunch of lambs in. We had 3 people in the shop. We went through 22 lambs in a day, so I got all my labor, and that was an efficient day. We had a production line set up. I had all my labor, my gross labor, including workers' comp and super, figured out. I factored in the cost of equipment, the electricity, the abattoir charge, the cryovac bags, what the label cost to me, everything. I went through it with a fine-tooth comb and figured out that from the point I drop a lamb off at the abattoir, not including trucking to the abs, just from the costs accumulated from dropping a lamb off at the abattoir to having a packet of cutlets and sausages in my hand with a branded label on it, was costing me $130 a lamb. That's with my own shop. So, and you know, to pick your poison, your numbers are all going to be differently. But for us to set up a butchery, we purchased a freehold, we bought all the equipment, we had to do some renovations, we put solar on, $400K. So this guy's currently outsourcing that to somebody for $80 a head, and I've invested $400,000 and it's now costing me $130 a head. Now, to give you an idea, at that time, my dog just got bit by the electric fence. Spud, it's okay. At that point in time, I was charging other producers to cut and pack their lambs for them, including kill fee and cartage, $125. So, you know, maybe you could argue cash flow and this and that, and I was breaking even or making a couple bucks, but really I was going backwards, and it was at the cost of opportunity cost to my own business, because when I was cutting and packing theirs, I couldn't do mine, and I was pushing my own stuff back to fit other producers' things in. So we had to raise our prices, and subsequently just about everyone left, and now we've never been busier cutting and packing our own stuff, so that's fine. So I just thought that was an interesting comparison, like a little interesting bit of data and numbers for you all out there. If you're getting somebody to cut and pack a lamb for you, including kill fee, and it's under $100 or it's $120 and you think you're getting ripped off, you know, it should be $150. That butcher should be able to do all that work for you, and the abattoir should be able to do all that work. You should be able to put 20 bucks in your pocket at the end of it. And they're probably not. It's probably butchers watching, saying you're not efficient enough, your costings are too high. That's fine. Maybe we're not efficient enough and maybe our costings are too high, but that is our real costs with everything factored in. That's the servicing, the depreciation, the energy, you know, 48 cents a kilowatt on peak. That's absolutely everything accounted for, and it doesn't account for the opportunity cost loss of you know, when you're cutting and packing for somebody else, you're not filling up your own cabinet. So take that for what it's worth. Have a think about that, ruminate on it like these little guys here are ruminating, and have a great night.